Hey, welcome. How you doing? Dan Land Pro here. So here we are in StreamYard, and we want to do a update version of the basics of StreamYard, and we're gonna leave a link down below. So if you want to get your copy of StreamYard and start your live streaming today, then that link will make it possible. So we're gonna go over all the basics of StreamYard from A to Z, from the time you launch your show to the end. So you can use it so many different ways. So we're not gonna keep you waiting. Let's just go right over to StreamYard and get started. So here we are in StreamYard. We haven't done a StreamYard in a while. They had a few updates and upgrades. So we're gonna go through the basics, how to set up your live stream. So if you're interested in getting your own show, or you wanna interview some people, or you wanna talk about a particular product or service, this is how you would do it, whether it's recording or live streaming, or if you want an on-air webinar. What I'm gonna do is just show you a basic live stream and how you can do it in StreamYard. So this is the cover page of StreamYard. After you signed up for StreamYard, you go over to StreamYard, they'll give you you put in your email address. You can get a free plan, or you can get one of the pricing plans. This is the pricing plan that I use, and each one give you different bells and whistles. So once this platform come up and you've set your destinations, you will see here we got members. So I can have certain members in here that can also help with my show. So your show don't necessarily have to be in one place. Like if I was in Chicago, I can have a few members around the country or around the world for that matter, and they can tap in as members because they're team members, as some platforms call it. Your destinations, as you see, I have many destinations here. This particular pricing plan only allow 3 at a time to be shown. So I can pick from these 3, whether I want to go Twitch, say YouTube and Facebook. I can pick those 3, or I might have 3 Facebook channels I want to hit simultaneously, 3 YouTube channels, or I might want to separate them depending on my destinations. So I can add as many destinations in here as I want to, but on this particular plan, you can only broadcast or go live on 3 at one time. Now they do have a pricing plan where you can go more than these 3, and you would have to deal with that pricing plan to see what they offer. This library here, you'll see in this library I have one recording. So I did a thing on foreign language on how to make your video in different languages. So if you want to reach a broader audience or a global audience, then I could put it in depending on what language or what region I want to target as my audience. So I can put this video in those languages as many times as I like. So this is just a library where anything that you live stream in StreamYard will wind up in this library once you finish. So once you finish your show, you wait until this is uploaded, where it'll show you where it's uploaded before you click off of that show. Otherwise, part of your show will be missing in this library. But it gives you so many gigabytes per pricing program. So you would have to check with those pricing platforms on StreamYard to see what comes with your particular package. And you can also delete some programs. See these 3 dots? So if I wanted to delete some programs or some recordings that was in here to stay within my range, those that's not important or those that's no longer viable, I can delete them. And you see, you can download, you can share, you can do all these things just in the library. Now, home is where we cook our bacon. As I told you, this is live stream, this is recording, and this is on air. Now, if I want to use recording and just record, I could just record a show. So you might want to pre-record something and show it later. Or you might want to have a webinar where you teach a class, or you want to have a number of members. So that's a different pricing plan, which you will see once you connect with StreamYard and see what it is that you want to do. You also have one here where it'll list your different postings, the dates. So I can delete all these if I like, or you notice most of them say ended. So these were live streams that I did previously. And then I can have upcoming in here where you will be able to see your recordings or whatever it is that you want to schedule. Now, live stream right here. So this is the bread and butter of your live streaming. So your show that you might want to do weekly, daily, hourly, it's up to you. So just say, now I want to live stream. So we're going to go into that. So I'm going to hit this, and then I'm going to determine where I want my live stream to go. So I want this live stream to go to one of my Facebook pages. I want it to go to one of my YouTube pages. And then I want it to go to another YouTube page. Or I'm just going to stick with these two Facebook pages because I'm going to erase it when I'm finished. So now I'm going to give it a title, and I'm going to say Tutorial Basic StreamYard 2024, since we updating it from what we previously did. Description could be the same thing. So in order to save time, I'm just going to copy that, and then I'm going to put it right here. Paste that, tutorial basic StreamYard, and I'm just going to add a few how to live stream. And then I'm going to schedule for later if I want to schedule it later, which I don't. So if I click this, I can schedule it for later. You see, I can set the dates, the times, the thumbnail, and then I can customize more during the next step. But I don't want it to be later, so I want it to come up right now. So once I hit customize for each destination, as you see, you saw me pick my destination. So I'm going to click on here, and then I'm going to say create live stream. Now you see where it says, let's check your camera and mic. You see the green part? That's my mic. So I'm using my MacBook Pro mic. You can see it right up under here. And I'm using what you call a Wirecast virtual camera. So this could be any camera, and I can change it to any camera. So if I went in my settings right here, so you see where it say camera, it say Wirecast virtual camera. So I could change it to my FaceTime camera, which is the computer camera. And I can change it to any cameras that will come up in this list that I have coming into the computer. Same with the audio. So you see we got the speakers on how we want it to come out, and I got it on default because I got it going into my headphones. But this is the mic. The mic up here is what your main concern is on how you want this to go. So I want MacBook Pro, and you see the little green dots telling you where it is. And then you can run a test right here with the speaker. I got on echo cancellation, and then I can reduce mic background noise, so you won't have all of that stuff in the background. And that's pretty much new, because when we did our last tutorial, they didn't have this one in here. So you can automatically adjust mic volume. So that's something you can also click. And then it's so many other things that you can do here. So I can have hotkeys, and you'll see I got some of my hotkeys already set up. So that's something that's in another tutorial that you go through on how to set up your hotkeys. So when I hit a certain key, depending on my platform or my guest, it'll do certain things based on the key I hit. So if I want to have a 2-shot, 3-shot, or however many people I had or guests I had, I can use my hotkeys without fumbling around doing the recording. Same here, recording, high quality individual audio and video recordings for each guest. So you can learn more, hit that learn more, and you can hit record locally for each participant. So if I had a number of guests, I can click that, and then it'll keep a record of each one of those guests as far as what I showed you earlier in the library. Background, virtual background, we got it on none. But if I was green screening, I can pick one of these backgrounds if I had my green screen up, and then I can pick one of these backgrounds to show in the background of my platform or my live streaming. So as you see, we showed you the basics. We went down this list, guests. You can invite your guests, and then you can do certain things with your guests. You see the things that you can do here. Guests must authenticate. You can tell it play a sound when guests enter, so you'll get a buzz when your guest is ready to go. Stream this to their own destination. So this is also new, so they can stream while you're streaming. And then you see guests see viewer comments. You can have it where they can actually see the comments as well. So if you don't want the guests to see the comments, because you'll see sometimes your guest is looking away, you can click that off. So these are all the basic things in your settings and the things that you can do, which is pretty much fascinating for this type of program. So now, as you see, I put my name in. So if I want to say Dan Tutorial, and that's what we're gonna name this, I could just have my name up as my guest so we'll know who I am. That will be my name tag. And now I want to enter the studio because I got everything ready to go into studio. So let's enter the studio. So now we're into the studio. But as you see, it don't just go live and I don't just come up on the screen. As you see down here in my queue, your audio and video haven't been added yet. Click add to stage. So I'm going to click that off, and then I'm going to hit where it says add to stage. And now you see I'm on stage, ready to rock and roll. Now, if I had some guests in here, you can see the 2-shot here on this screen. You can see the 2-shot here on this screen. I can have a 3-shot here, and then we can have it where we can do a tutorial, and we can have it where the guests can also come in on the tutorial, and then we can have it where we can do the same as you see me doing this tutorial with everything that I'm explaining in the background where you can see it, so you can see how to program. So this is also another one where if a guest was here, I can switch between myself and the guest if I just want that guest to be solo on screen. So I'm showing you the basics now so we won't get you confused, but we can go in detail into some other dynamics of this program in a later tutorial. Meanwhile, you can study on how some of these things go as far as how you want to do your show. Now, if you look up here, these are the screens that I showed you down here. And down here, you'll see I can mute my mics. I can stop the cam. Which your avatar will come up. If I stop the cam, you see I got an avatar set, so you can see my voice is still active. And then I can turn the camera back on. We already went through the settings, so this is pretty much the same thing that I showed you earlier. And this is present, where I can come in here and I can do slides, and I can do an extra camera if I have that pricing package, and then I can do a video file. So the only thing you're not going to get on certain platforms is this extra camera, which you have to pay for. So I can use share screen if I want to do the same thing I'm doing here and show you something, or I can want to show you something on YouTube or something. I can do a share screen and bring that screen up, and we can discuss that screen. This is where you invite your guests. Right here. So if I want to invite my guests, I will copy this link. I will email this link to my guests, and then my guests can stream this to their own destinations as well. And we can have things popping on the live stream. So once they get this link, when they come back to me, as you saw earlier, you can set it where you get a notification that your guest is trying to come on live, which means once they do, they'll come up down here in your queue, and you can add them to the show, depending on how you want to lay it out. Now, these are some newer things where you can have different layouts, and I can cancel that because you can edit your layout, and then you can have custom layouts, which is some things that you can add on how you want to appear on the screen. If you have different pricing plans, you can use different shapes in order to do yourself as well as your guests. So now you see here we got comments right up here to the top right. So any comments that come in will come in on this screen, so I can click which ones I want to go live and which ones I don't want to go live. So as you see, once I click that, so whatever you wrote in the comments, it'll come up on the screen, and you see the screen adjusted accordingly. And we just using that default post right now, but it could be your own post, and then you can hide it so you can have any type of thing that you want to put on there. And it also tell you at the bottom, can't post comments to some destinations. Excuse me. So that depends on what destinations you're trying to go to, where you might not be able to post to that particular comments on that particular platform. Here's another one. So when we come down here, you will see we also have where you can have a ticker. So if I show the ticker, you see I can have things in there like events that's coming up, or I can announce certain things, or I might have a public service announcement or something like that that I can put at the bottom of the screen, and it will scroll. And as you see, we also using something that I wrote earlier, hello all, welcome to Steppers Express. That's a different platform or page, but we wrote that, and we can change that. So then once you hide it, you see it's gone. And then you can also have a ticker here. So I'm going to show you another ticker where I had it, how to embed a StreamYard live streaming websites using server. So this was another tutorial that I did, which will show you how to take this show and embed it on your website so you can have more control over what's happening. When you embed it on your website, you can also set it up where it come live on your website. So we can hide that as well. And then you can create a banner. So I can scroll across bottom ticker, or I can just add a banner that I want to come up whenever I click it. And that's the same type of process as the ticker. So now you have this brand. Brand is where you can find, you see where my name, Dan Tutorial, I can change the color of that if I want to. So I can change it to any color that I want, and that's where you would do that at. That would be the color, and you see I can do different shapes like right here, and the one I'm using right now is bubble. I can also take the display off, so if I just had it where I may have some custom stuff on, so I want to take the display off, like you see my lower thirds to the right, so I really don't need that to identify who I am because I already have a custom thumbnail in my virtual camera. But I'm going to leave it up there just for general purpose. And then it says show headlines. And then we can, you can put the different headline in here. So I could write a headline and it would also be shown on the screen. And then I can add the logo. So you can add your custom logo. So if you see it come up in the top right corner of the screen. So we're using the default logo, which is StreamYard, and we could take it on and off. And then you can add your own logo right here. So you can upload that logo and you can find out the different sizes right here. Recommended size 200 pixels by 200 pixels. So you want to make nothing too big, because if you do and you try to put it on the screen, it's going to look kind of funny because it's going to overlay on whatever you have on the screen. So as you see, we have overlays down here as well. So if I want to show an overlay, you see another default StreamYard. So if you can make it custom, so just say I go into Photoshop or one of the other programs and make me a custom overlay, I can make sure that it come up on the screen. So if I got 720 or I got 1080, I want to customize my layover so it'll fall exactly like you see StreamYard did in this example. And then we can add overlays right here. So if I got some already made, I just click here and go into my files and get that overlay. And then down here you see video clips, where you see I have different video clips, and you'll see where I did different stuff. So you can also see where they'll tell you your video clips can only be 200 megabytes. So what I normally do, if you got anything over 200 megabytes, you want to go to files. You want to use a video file down here at the bottom where it says video file. And you can use bigger files when you want to do some display, or you want to do a presentation, maybe with guests. If your file is bigger than 200 megabytes, that's where you want to go, so you won't overload your system, because it's not going to let you put it in this queue anyway. But if you notice, these you don't have to control manually when it's under 200 megabytes. So I'm going to play a clip. This is one I did in French, and after it play, you see it'll go back to default, right back to the screen, where when you use a video file, you are in control of that. So you have to make sure when that file ends, you click back over or to play over again. So let's do this.
Danland Pro de danlandproductionsllc.com. Aujourd'hui, nous allons couvrir les bases du streaming en direct. Maintenant, nous avons du contenu sur tout le site qui couvre la production vidéo, le streaming en direct et la création.
Okay, so we just want to show you how you can also click that off, and you see you don't have to do a lot of stuff because it'll default right back to your live stream when it's finished. So you don't have to worry about it looping, but you can set it to loop right up here at the top. I can set it to loop right here. So if I wanted that video to loop, I just hit loop and it'll keep playing and playing until I stop it. Down here you see backgrounds. Most of the time you use these backgrounds. So if I had a screen, or if I went in my settings and changed the screen, which I could show you here, let's go into settings, and then we're gonna see the layout. So if I click solo layout to show background image, you will see that image gonna shrink down. So now if I put a background image behind there. So just say we show this background image. Now you can customize that and play around with those background images. So you might have something back there like a gradient or something that you want to put in there, and then you can use it to that effect. But if you're not using it, my recommendation is to keep the layout on full screen, which all you got to do is go back into settings and click that off. And now you see it don't really worry about a background image. But you can have background images and layouts on here. And as you see, we showed you how that works. Down here, you will see you have background music. It's a list of background music right here that StreamYard lets you use, so you won't have to worry about your video being silenced or muted or taken off for copyright purposes. So you don't want to use any music or background music that you know is going to get you flagged, as you see sometimes happens. And then you can play around with it because you can tell it to loop, and you can see these three dots here. You can remove it. You can play it to see how it sound before you put it in your program, and then you can pick the one you want, and it'll play throughout your presentation or your live stream. Now, last but not least, down here we have our private chat, so you can chat with everyone in the studio. So your guests, you might want to tell your guests something that you don't want everybody to hear or see. Maybe you have a problem or something and you want to tell them, hey, your mic is not, your sound is not on. Then you can hit the chat, and then your guests and everyone, your guests can hear, and anyone in the studio can read that chat to know what you might be requesting from them at the time. So up here in the top right, you see the three destinations. So if I want to go change one of my destinations, I just hit edit and say, oh yeah, I don't want it to go to YouTube. I want it to go to Steppers Express. So I can take one off, and you see it's telling me, see what get by upgrading, it's telling me I'm trying to pick 4. So I would have to take one of these off in order to put a new one on. So all that will require is for me to remove one. So just say I remove this one, and then I remove. So now I can pick that destination that I was trying to get, and then hit save changes, and now we're ready to go. So now you see those 3 destinations changed, and now when I go live, all 3 of these destinations is going to carry my live stream simultaneously. And you see all the things that we showed you on how to go about using StreamYard. Okay, so that's pretty much it. As you see, StreamYard is really user-friendly. There's so many things that you can do with it. It gives you so many different bells and whistles, and I'm just here to share it with you. Again, I've provided a link down below for you. You can click that link, and you can look at the 3 different pricing plans and the 3 different plans that StreamYard offer, and see which one best suit what you're trying to do on the level that you may be on. As I said, or I'll repeat, it's a very user-friendly platform. It's really good if you want to do your interviews or your podcasts and you want to be online, or you want your face videos. And in some cases, you can still use it for faceless videos. So whatever your heart desire, we're just here to share with you the know-how on how to make it happen. Hey, I'm Dan Pro. Don't forget, subscribe, hit that like button. Till next time, peace.